Dear students, today we will continue with analyzing an algorithm. We usually want our algorithms to possess several qualities. We have seen like correctness is needed, okay? We have to design the algorithm, we have to code the algorithm, everything is required. After correctness, the most important one is efficiency. There are two kinds of algorithm efficiency. Remember, one is time efficiency and second one is space efficiency. Time efficiency indicating how fast the algorithm runs and space efficiency is how much extra memory it uses. When we design an algorithm, we will take the inputs and there may be data and how much data we are taking, the size of data. Even for example, we need integer data, maybe you are going for double type of data or float type of data, then there may be a loss of memory. All those things we will consider. Okay, that is space efficiency. And the time efficiency, how much time it will take to run each part, that we have to consider. That is time efficiency and space efficiency of algorithm. A general framework and specific techniques for analyzing an algorithm's efficiency we will learn in the later stage, maybe in the next chapter. Another desirable characteristic of an algorithm is simplicity. Unlike efficiency, which can be preciously defined and investigated with mathematical rigor, that is, mathematical rules or mathematical intelligence. Simplicity, like beauty, is to considerable degree in the eye of the beholder. For example, most people would agree that Euclid's algorithm is simpler than the middle school procedure for computing GCD m, n. But it is not clear whether Euclid's algorithm is simpler than the consecutive integer checking algorithm, what we learned in our primary. Still, simplicity is an important algorithm characteristic to strive for. Why? Because simpler algorithms are easier to understand and easier to program. Consequently, the resulting program usually contain fewer bugs. There is also the undeniable visual appeal of simplicity. Sometimes simpler algorithms are also more efficient than more complicated alternatives. Unfortunately, it is not always true, in which case a judicious compromise needs to be made. We don't know exactly which method is better. Maybe you have taken 2 3 methods. One may be simpler, one may be complicated. But as per the result, we will see the result, whether how much time efficiency we will get, how much space efficiency we will get. That we will consider. And it may be that advantage we will get maybe by complex algorithm or maybe by simpler algorithm, that we don't know. So that means on the basis of the result we will consider which one is better. Yet another desirable characteristic of an algorithm is generality. There are in fact two issues here. Generality of the problem the algorithm solves and the set of input it accepts. There are two possibilities in generality. That is, the problem the algorithm solves and the set of input it takes. Set of input in the sense maybe the data. Set of data, what it takes, and the method which we are using to solve the problem. Okay. As to the set of inputs, your main concern should be designing an algorithm that can handle a set of inputs that is natural for the problem at hand. For example, excluding integers equal to 1 as possible inputs for GCD algorithm would be quite unnatural. On the other hand, although the standard formula for the roots of quadratic equation holds for complex coefficients, we would normally not implement it on this level of generality unless this capability is explicitly required. That means on the basis of requirements, we will take the input and we will design the algorithm. If you are not satisfied with the algorithm's efficiency, simplicity or generality, you must return to the drawing board and redesign the algorithm. That means several redesign makes the best one, as you know about the problems. When you tackle problems many number of times, then we will get the experience. And the same case is here. When you design a problem or design an algorithm for the problem many number of times, then you will get the best one. The French writer, okay, that is pilot and aircraft designer, said once, a designer knows he has arrived at perfection not when there is no longer anything to add, but when there is no longer anything to take away. The designer knows he has arrived at perfection not when there is no longer anything to add. There are some more components I have to add, by that it will be a perfect. Okay, not that is the result. The result is whatever we have planned, that output we got means, okay, it's over. That is the concept of algorithmic design. Coding an algorithm. Most algorithms are intended to be ultimately implemented as computer programs. Programming an algorithm presents both an exposure and an opportunity. The exposure lies in the possibility of making the transition from an algorithm to a program either incorrectly or very inefficiently. Some computer scientists strongly believe that unless the correctness of a computer program is proven with full mathematical rigor, okay, mathematical possibilities, the program cannot be considered correct. They have developed special techniques for doing such proofs. But the power of these techniques of formal verification is limited so far to very small programs. That means if there is a complex program, there are predefined proofs. But if there are small programs, there are no specific proofs. As a practical matter, the validity of programs is still established by testing. Okay, there will be a testing process. When there is a algorithmic, that means when the problem is solved, first we will make the algorithm, we will design the algorithm. When the algorithm design is over, maybe you will plan for the language. And after the language, maybe you will do the coding. And when the coding is over, it will be tested with set of inputs, whether it runs in a proper way and whether there is a space efficiency and time efficiency is perfect or not. That we will see. And for that purpose, there are specific programs for the testing. Nowadays, there are software testing course, even the software testing applications. And if you give your program to that application, software testing application, it will give the result. How much perfect is. That means your program is correct or not, whether it gives the 100% efficiency or not. That all things it will check automatically. So that testing programs are available nowadays. But that does not mean that there is nothing in to learn. Look up books devoted to testing and debugging process. Even more important, test and debug your program thoroughly whenever you implement an algorithm. That means don't think that there are separate programs to test. After the testing, we can do something, but it will take time. So instead of that, design the algorithm in a proper way with all the rules, then the output may be better. We assume that inputs to algorithms belong to the specified sets and hence require no verification. When implementing algorithm as programs to be used in actual application, you should provide such verifications. Of course, implementing an algorithm correctly is necessary but not sufficient. You would not like to diminish your algorithm's power by an inefficient implementation. Modern compilers do provide a certain safety net in this regard, especially when they are used in their code optimization mode. So, what the concept is, algorithms you are developing, and then with the programming language you will write the coding, and even after that you will give the program to compiler. Nowadays the compilers are designed in this way, they will give all suggestions, okay, to betterize your program. Okay, that concept is there in nowadays with the compiler. A working program provides an additional opportunity in allowing an experiential analysis of the underlying algorithm. Such an analysis is based on timing the program on several inputs and then analyzing the results obtained. We discuss the advantage and disadvantage of this approach to analyzing algorithm later. As a rule, a good algorithm is a result of repeated effort and rework. Even if you have been fortunate enough to get an algorithmic idea that seems perfect, you should still try to see whether it can be improved. Maybe, for example, addition of two numbers. There may be one method. Maybe your sir has told one method. Try to find out whether there are any other methods. By that I can solve that program. Whether I can betterize that program. In the academic world, the question leads to an interesting but usually difficult investigation of an algorithm's optimality. Actually, this question is not about the efficiency of an algorithm, but about the complexity of the problem it solves. What is the minimum amount of effort any algorithm will need to exert to solve the problem? For some problem, the answer to this question is no. For example, any algorithm that sorts a list of values in array by comparing values of its elements needs about n log n comparison for some arrays of size n. Okay, that is proven rule or proven theory. To sort values in array, we need n log n comparisons. Okay, that we will see later. Why that n log n? But for many seemingly easy problems such as integer multiplication, computer scientists do not yet have a final answer. Some will look simple, but for that there will not be any answers. But some will look complicated, but there are answers. That means that for complex problems there are answers. For the simple problem there are no answers. Another important issue of algorithmic problem solving is the question of whether or not every problem can be solved by an algorithm. Real roots of quadratic equation with a negative discriminant, okay, that is d is equal to b square minus 4ac, that is discriminant. For such cases, an output indicating that the problem does not have a solution is all we can and should expect from an algorithm. Fortunately, vast majority of problems in practical computing can be solved by an algorithm, not 100%. For all the problems, there are no solution, but for the maximum problem, there are solutions. In the next class, we will see analysis of algorithm in detail. And remember students, this is a theoretical part. Introduction is full of theory, but just you have to take the idea what the exactly the algorithm is. Okay, and here what type of approaches are there, what type of designing methods are there, all those things we will